Second and last webinar. Actually, today our days change from Thursday to Monday. First time we are holding it on Monday. We generally have it on Thursday or Friday because our eminent panelist availability we wanted her only to so for second session. So we say whatever day is fine, even Sunday is okay, but we need Miss Krutika only for this webinar. So that's why we are here, because we wanted to know from the person who has handled this listing, because there are many issues, queries, and questions that what is non-profit organization, what is profit-making social enterprise, what is social enterprise, what will be the role of social stock exchange, whether it will be funding raising, what will be the return that people will get who will invest in this social enterprise. Again, how the valuation will be done, what will be the future. Again, whether it will also work as a, in between mediator, even for retail donor to get it, whether it will work as a platform where a donor and donee get connected. So many questions in the common man and all such. And that's why we wanted you only to be there in this second webinar. And that's why, friends, we are with us again, Ms. Krutika Shelke, Deputy Head Social Stock Exchange, BSE Limited. Welcome, Ms. Krutika. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, and I'm sorry to
No,
change all this.
It's our pleasure that even with your busy schedule, you have taken out time and spare your time for this interesting session.
Thanks.
Today's webinar is on Social Stock Exchange Deep Dive. And friends, we have introduced Ms. Krutika earlier, but still as a practice and formality, I will just introduce Ms. Krutika again. Ms. Krutika is MCOM Marketing, MBA Social Entrepreneurship, is dedicated professional and having social impact and social sustainable development. He is a passionate advocate for positive change. She currently serves as Deputy Head of BSE Social Stock Exchange, where she plays a pivotal role in enabling NGO to register and understand the manifold benefits of being listed on the exchange, for which purpose only today's webinar is there. That what are the benefits here of listing, and with a deep understanding of a unique challenges faced by NGO, Ms. Krutika leverages her expertise to guide and support them through registration process. She assists in navigating the regulatory requirements, streamlining documentation, and ensuring compliance with social stock exchange criteria. Through her meticulous approach and attention to detail, she helps NGOs seamlessly transition into social stock exchange ecosystem, empowering them to showcase their social impact and gain greater visibility. Along with BSE Social Stock Exchange, she helps in supporting and nurturing startup and early stage businesses, with primary focus is on startup selection and onboarding, research allocation, networking, and partnership and community building to help this startup grow and succeed at Zone Startup India. That is also another area where we have to have another webinar, Zone Startup. She was also the part of BSE Samman, a platform for CSR matchmaking, which I was referring, and management. At Samman, her core focus was managing corporate engagement and NGO onboarding, research, and lead the outreach for potential NGO to partner Pan-India, manage the NGO onboarding process, review and screen proposals, delivered and documented the need-based assessment reports, call aborted with technology team to test products developed. Ms. Krutika holds an MBA in social entrepreneurship from NMIMS. She continues to expand her knowledge and skills through ongoing professional development opportunities and certification. It's a long profile. She is into various fields, which require another 2 webinars also. And we will again bother you, Ms. Krutika, and we will adjust to your requirement. Don't worry. We will adjust to your schedule.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So with this, I will request Ms. Krutika to say a few words on the topic and what it is, and then Mr. Sudhakar, and then Dolly, you can start the presentation. Over to Ms. Krutika. Thank you.
So currently what we see social stock exchange is basically what we say 1.0 type of so there are many folds that are going to unfold slowly and steadily. Even we at exchange are learning the process as this is a very new concept in India itself. So yeah, looking forward to the seminar.
Thank you. Yes, Sudha.
Yeah. Good evening, participants, and thanks very much, Krutika, to join us once again. And as Dipti has mentioned rightly, okay, whenever we are doing any program on social stock exchange, we will always be bothering you for this thing. At the same point of time, I also request you personally that in case, apart from these two webinars, if you think that there is one more, suppose in any other, these things are not what's called the concept of social stock exchange, which we have not covered, which we will cover, which may cover in the future webinars, kindly suggest to us, which we will be doing that.
Definitely.
At the same point of time, many of our participants are chartered accountants, company secretaries, and a lot of NGOs are there. And when we were organizing the series of webinars on CSR, almost 5-6 webinars we have organized on CSR, when we were talking about the legalities, most of the participants used to say, legalities we will take care of, but tell us how to get the funds. That was the one perennial question people used to ask always is, how to get the funds? That you tell us, the rest of the things we will take care of. So one of the ways of getting the funds is nothing but this getting listed on the social stock exchanges. And this is one, I think, one of the modes which are available. And Dolly has done a very good presentation. I'm sure that Krutika, you got an opportunity to go through that.
Yes.
And I'm sure that wherever you have to give your value addition, kindly do that.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And Dolly, please take it forward.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all the panelists. Thanks, Krutika, for being here. And as discussed, we will start the presentation. Just a second. So I hope the screen is visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So last time we had the introductory level webinar on the social stock exchange, where we had discussed about what is social stock exchange, what are the benefits, what is the social enterprises, and who are the eligible to get identified as a social stock enterprises. Then who are the stakeholders and the history of the SSE platform. So today we will have a very quick recap of the same before moving towards the registration and the funding instruments for the purpose of raising the fund, which will be the interesting topic for the NGOs. Okay, so moving onwards, let's just understand about the platform named as a social stock exchange. So basically, it is a platform to raise the fund by the social sector, which can be again non-profit organization or for-profit enterprises. Okay, so basically, it is a segment of the existing stock exchange. So it will be operating almost similar like the social stock exchange. That can be a social enterprises raise funds from the public through the stock exchange mechanism. What are the objectives? Objective to provide the alternative fundraising platform. Okay, so basically, as I mentioned, it is allowing the non-profit organization and also for profit to raise the fund for the social cause. So again, definition is also given for the SSE. So social stock exchange means a separate segment of a recognized stock exchange having a nationwide trading terminals, permitting to register especially not for the profit organizations, and to list their securities in accordance with the provisions of the SEBI regulations. So
just 1 minute, Dolly.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Mr. Sudhakar? I think net connectivity.
Okay.
You go ahead, then again he will connect, so you'll do. You go ahead.
Okay. So the concept of social stock exchange is introduced in India by the Finance Minister, Miss Nirmala, in the year 2019-20 budget speech. She spoke about the concept of social stock exchange for the first time, and later on in 2019 there was a working group, and the later on technical group which got constituted for the purpose of deciding upon the operation and the framework of the social stock exchange, which got again approved by the SEBI about the for the framework in 2021. And in 2022 the zero coupon zero principle, which got declared as a securities by the this all committees. And then in 2022 SEBI has also amended the LODR and the ICDR AIF regulations, okay, to meet in line with the social stock exchange. And in 2022, BSC and the NSC, they got the in principle approval to set up the social stock exchange. And currently, as per the records available with the SEBI, and which is there in the publicly available, total in 31 31 NPOs and the FPs has registered with the BSC and NSC. Yeah. So let's just understand about who are the stakeholders of social stock exchange. So as we had discussed in the last webinar in much detail, so these are the stakeholders: trading members, non-profit organization, for-profit enterprises, market infrastructure institutions, social auditors, information repositories, regulators, and the investors. And to get identified as a social enterprise, these are the eligibility conditions. First is social impact is the primary purpose. So there should be a social impact, or we can say social intent, for the activities and for which you are raising the funds. Okay, so these are the areas which are covered almost, it is 16 to 17 activities which are covered, in line with the CSR and the Sustainable Development Goals. And also there will be a quantum of social work. So the enterprise must have at least 67% of their revenue or expenses or beneficiaries coming from the social impact activities. So these are the two prime conditions to get identified as a social enterprises. Okay, and also there are few organizations which are barred from this to get recognized as a social enterprises. So corporate foundations, political or religious organizations or activities, professional or trade association, infrastructure and housing companies, except affordable housing. These platforms are not foundations or organizations, they are not eligible to get to raise the fund on the social stock exchange platform. And social enterprise shall target undeserved or less privileged population segment or regions regarding recording lower performance in the development priorities of central or state governments. So this is a very prime slide, I would say, because on the basis of if you are getting recognized as a social enterprises, then only you are allowed to raise the fund through social stock exchange platform.
Dolly, in fact, I got disconnected, before I was trying
Yes.
to put a question. In the previous slide, just go back. This one.
First one.
Krutika, several times one question comes that though we say that social stock exchange is a platform where the NPOs and the for-profit enterprises, they can list their securities. Okay. Now the question comes that when you issue the securities, when the NPOs are issuing the securities, who are going to subscribe this? Number one. Number two, do they have any market value? Because I don't think these securities are operating like normal securities. So these securities are different to that of the normal securities. Can you please explain the difference between these two securities? And in case of social stock exchange, when the NPOs are issuing, non-profit organizations are issuing their securities, if I, as an investor, if I am going to invest, what is there in for me? Kindly explain that.
So basically, so this is not like a normal security. ZC, ZP is what we are looking at listing. Maybe this month we will have an announcement telling that we have listed a NGO. So what happens is when you list your, so there is difference now when on a normal stock exchange, a company is getting listed and then we buy their shares. Okay. Here, because of the nature of work that an NPO has, we cannot register a NGO because NGOs are working in different sectors, and one NGO can have multiple projects. For example, in a healthcare, or they have into education. But an investor might have their own choices. Ki nahi, I want to put money into education, or no, I want to put only into healthcare. Then it is a dilemma for the investor. So what we have done is we will register NGO's project. Okay, the project will be listed on the exchange. That project is so she is going to cover the size and all of it in the presentation, but minimum the project size has to be 1 crore to list on the exchange. And the minimum investments, like you and me, I can do investments into these securities, but the minimum investment is 2 lakh rupees. Okay,
I think if I'm not wrong, Krutika, there is a SEBI consultation paper is there.
Yeah, yes. So that meeting we were there and we have proposed in them to get it down to 10,000.
Correct.
Yes. So, but that is not yet into
Yeah.
rule. It is just a consultation like that we have suggestions that we have done to SEBI. Hopefully, we want it to be. So yeah, that is what it is. And then what happened is like the way you buy, you have maybe a Zerodha account or you have Share Khan account, and the way you buy shares, you buy Tata Power, you buy Infosys. Similarly, you will buy that particular NGO's project that is listed. That security you will buy. But on that date when you buy, suppose you invest 2 lakhs, it is just like donation. And ZCZP is just a name, another name for donation, just that it is coming via exchange. The investors are having greater trust factor because it is coming via exchange. We've done all the due diligence of the exchange, and it mostly the NGOs that get registered only are the NGOs who are working on ground and have no malfunction done or no bad practices are the NGOs that will get registered. So the investors have that trust that it will be utilized for what we are giving. And then, so the day that you invest, it will show that you have invested, but the next very day it will go into minus.
It will go into?
Minus, because you're investing.
Yeah. Okay. So that means when the project is completed, I have to take it as my revenue expenditure, it is not my capital expenditure. Am I correct?
Yes.
Because I cannot suppose when I am putting this money, normally what happens is whenever as an investor I am investing the money, I will show it in my balance sheet as an investment. Am I correct?
Yes.
Whether an individual or a corporate.
No, it will be shown as a donation.
Okay, you will show it as a donation.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, fine.
And
so tell me one thing, or tell me one more thing, Krutika. You meant to say that do you think that the trading takes place, or there is no trading
for
as
ZC? No, for ZC ZP there is no trading allowed as of now from SEBI. It is only a one-time investment.
Okay.
But they've told us to be ready in near future if they want us to do trading. Our systems have to be in place.
Okay. So that only investment will be there. There is no trading as such. You meant to say. Okay, got it. Okay, fine. Thanks.
Even Krutika, just in addition to this, okay, there will be any tax benefits available to the investor?
So we have in that consultation paper that Sudhakar ji just mentioned, we have so there is this that we have proposed for ATG benefits, but as of now, there is nothing, there's no benefit.
Nothing on like paper,
no.
right? So there are several recommendations are there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Kritika, one more related question. Suppose, say, for example, I am a corporate.
Hmm.
And as a corporate, say, for example, I have an obligation to invest in CSR,
Hmm.
say 25 lakh rupees. If I put the 25 lakhs in this particular NGOs, any issue, am I discharging my obligation,
No,
CSR
no.
obligation?
No,
Or
you
sorry?
are not.
Okay.
So we've made that consultation also that we want them to allow CSR through the exchange.
Correct. Yeah.
So
I think it
currently,
is a good
CSR
consultation paper. In fact, I think we should recommend all the things to be taken
Actually,
up. It's a
I would
good.
request all of you, whoever I've joined. So there are 242 participants. I would like all of you to make recommendations to SEBI.
Correct. Yeah.
So currently, CSR is out of this social stock exchange. Even the foreign investment is also out of the like foreign donations and all that out of
Yes.
social stock exchange, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
Sorry, Dolly, I will take one more minute before you go further.
yeah,
Dolly, immediately please pull out the consultation paper of SEBI.
yeah.
Let you and me discuss it and let us recommend from our side, Mehta and Mehta side also. Let us give our recommendations wherever if we feel so to SEBI.
Sure,
In the
sir.
next couple of days, let us do that. Am I correct, Dipti?
Yeah, I was also supposed. Very good. I was coming.
I guess I've already shared the consultation paper with Dolly.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No, it is there.
Okay.
It is yes.
So in August, SEBI has already, issued the suggestion. They have, like the committee has their suggestion. They have issued to SEBI in the end of the August only.
So let us give our recommendations, Dolly. Immediate next 48
Sure,
hours,
sir.
let's do that
Sure,
thing.
sir.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay, sir.
great. Thanks.
Okay.
Sudhakar, you want to take some questions, which is though majority you are covered, like what is benefit to investor, what are the return, everything. I think you people has discussed. Then
The only thing is, in fact, it is better instead of I am answering the question. Of course, I will do that. But Kritika, one more.
I'm taking questions during, or
Yeah,
I think majority you have done it. I think you people has discussed majority.
Yeah. See, one more question, Kritika, is that in case of non-profit organizations, what we discussed is correct. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Suppose if there are for-profit organization, I think FPOs they call it as. I think their listing will be in any normal
SME board or the startup.
SME board or a main board or whatever it is, depending upon the size of funds what they require.
Yes, yes.
So that listing will be there, and in such case, what will happen is the trading will take place. Everything will be normal.
Yes.
Achha, tell me one more thing, Kritika. That suppose when the FPOs are going to get listed, the listing regulations are applicable to them because it is going to be on any normal stock exchange. It is there like. Now, when the shares are getting listed, securities are getting listed on the social stock exchange, I don't think listing regulations are applicable to that. Am I correct? The SEBI listing regulations, which are applicable to the non-listed,
they will be.
They will be applicable.
Yes.
Because for social stock exchange.
Yeah, because they are getting listed on the normal board, no?
No. I'm talking about non-profit organizations which are recognized on the social stock exchange, which are getting listed on the social stock exchange. Where there is no trading is permitted, nothing is permitted. It is only like a donation only. To those companies, to those trusts and that NGOs and all, I don't think SEBI listing regulations will be applicable to that. Am I correct?
So you're talking to, so NGOs is different. Like if you can see the diagram that Dolly has drawn, no? NGO, so there are two different things. The NGO and the for-profit enterprise is making profits. So their trading will happen.
I agree with you. Their trading will happen. SEBI listing regulations will be applicable to that. All the compliances are to be taken care.
Yes.
Now come to the left-hand side of the diagram.
So you are asking for the non-for-profit?
Yes.
Yeah,
so
the NPOs, non-profit organizations are getting their securities listed on the social stock exchange.
But there are different compliances that they have to do.
Yeah. So there
other than what it is expected from for profit.
okay. So list SEBI LODR is not applicable to NPOs.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, got it. That's what I want to actually drive the point to the participants. When non-profit organizations are listing their securities on the social stock exchange, number one, there won't be any trading. Number two, there won't be any capital appreciation. Number three, it is, as Krutika has rightly mentioned, for the purpose of understanding, it is just like any normal donation only. So you will not be able to show in your balance sheets as if it is an investment. It is like a donation, so it is a revenue expenditure only. For profit enterprises, that is PEs, profit enterprises, the listing of securities, well, like any other normal this thing, whether you can get it listed on the SMA platform or you can list it on the main board platform, like any other security, there in the it is just like any IPO or any FPOs are getting listed, the same is the case here also. Yeah. Yes,
Can I take some
yeah.
questions, because like it is mentioned that project will be listed, then they are asking who will market the NGO listed projects?
This is the NGO's responsibility. We will put it up on the website. We will do everything that an exchange is supposed to do.
Then how will a social organization value its IPO listing value?
For ZCZP, as of now, it is only rupees 1. The
Yeah.
one issue will be.
And that is what will be the profit for the shareholders? Means they are asking investor.
No, ZCZP, there is no profit. No, it is donation.
Profit, it's a donation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
ZCZP is basically zero coupon, zero principal.
Zero parents.
So zero coupon is interest, you don't get any interest, and zero principal is the amount that you invest is that also.
You won't get back.
Yes.
Kritika, one more question arising out of that. In fact, I think today I am asking you more questions than answering it. See, the question is like this. Now, when the NGO is getting listed, their securities, or any other entity which is eligible and getting their securities listed on the social stock exchange, I'm sure as a stock exchange, you are going to do the KYC, due diligence, everything to allow them to bring their issue and to get the shares, securities listed on the stock exchange. After that, whether they are the project they're completing it or not, whether they are eating or taking out the siphoning of the funds or not, I don't think stock exchanges are taking that responsibility to ensure that. Am I correct in my understanding? Or you are going to monitor that also?
This is actually a very good question, but
Anyway, kindly,
no,
in fact, if you don't have a ready answer to this, because I couldn't get this answer in the material available, and you may kindly flag this issue.
yes.
It is the responsibility of the stock exchanges. See, for example, in case of the main board stock exchange or SMA platforms and all, what happens is stock exchanges do have a control on those companies. Okay, that control is by getting the information disseminated, by putting some kind of this thing and all. Of course, there also the stock exchanges are not giving any guarantee. People will not fly away with the money and all, but the only thing is some kind of restrictions are there. I'm sure in case of social stock exchange also, though the stock exchange is not going to take any responsibility that the NGOs will complete the project, whatever they have taken up and all those things. Only thing is that, to the best of my understanding, the answer to my question itself is, if I have to answer that, I may be right, I may be wrong, that when you are taking up allowing the securities listed on the stock exchange, that point of time itself, you are taking up only the enterprises having some kind of an image, some kind of a reputation, because you are doing a KYC as well as the due diligence.
Yes.
So the presumption is that these companies, as you rightly said, Krutika, in the beginning itself, when I am going to invest my money, I have to take it as if I am giving a donation. But when I'm giving the donation, always in the back of my mind, I will have a question that whether this party is genuine or not. To a large extent, I have a comfort factor, because when you are allowing that company to get it listed on the stock exchange like BSE or NSE, whatever it may be, I can say, yes, some kind of a due diligence has been taken place by the regulator. So that is what my comfort, if I'm not wrong. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay,
And
thank you.
also, of course, continuously they are asking why I should invest when I don't have return. It is repeatedly told it's a donation. So zero coupon, zero interest is the purpose and it's a donation. So I am answering, there are 15, 18 questions repeatedly same. Again, why invest when the income tax exemption is not there? And there she has told it is proposed. And then they are telling that if another question, whether it will be CSR funding, whether they can source CSR funding, social stock exchange listed security. That is the question.
So in fact, you see, Dipti, this is why I'm actually asking this question. Because what happened is that after last webinar, I have received, in fact, a lot of phone calls from my fraternity, Krutika, is that majority of them are asking this question only, what will happen? Is the trading going to take place? And also whatever the knowledge I am having it, I used to answer them by, you have to write it off in your books. Write it off means it is not the purely as if you are given a debt, it is not going to come back. You have given the word to that. I have not coined the word as a donation, but I said that as if you are giving your contribution to the particular entity.
Project.
Yeah, project. So here actually for the, in fact, for the benefit of the participants, we may take it like this, as I was asking the question, the purpose of your investing in these NGOs which are getting, bringing their issue on the social stock exchange is nothing but you are donating the money or you are giving your contribution to that NGO to take up some good projects. Because there are sometimes, several times it happens that NGOs are having some good projects, but half the way they used to abandon the projects because of lack of funds. And they were to virtually go door to door and then seek and solace for the funds, which was not happening. Even if the projects are good, sometimes the funds were not coming to them. Because the same question that are you genuine or not, and how to establish the genuineness. This is a good platform to those kind of NGOs, because when you go and get your shares listed on a social stock exchange, just like when you take up your business as a proprietorship concern, as a partnership form, or as a company, listed or unlisted, there is a difference between that. The stakeholders, the bankers, the investors, the moment your shares are listed, your reputation is different. The moment you are a public company, even if it is closely held, reputation is different, image is different. If you are a proprietorship concern, okay, अरे यार लाले की दुकान है यार, तुम तो कभी भी बंद कर सकते हो इसको, छोड़ो इसको, तुमसे तो डील करना ही नहीं. Despite the fact that लाले की concern जो है, it might be very having high ethics and integrity, but still confidence is not there. In this case, when that NGO or any entity getting their shares or securities listed on the social stock exchange, their reputation, the confidence of the investor is going to get enhanced. That is the only way. But there is no trading, there is no capital appreciation, there is no return on your investment. That is very clear.
Even in addition, I would like to answer for why CSR is not currently allowed. Probably the reason could be there are certain, provisions under CSR for impact assessment. Then there is a provision of ongoing project. So here, where on the social stock exchange platform, where NPOs or FPs, they are raising the fund on a project-to-project basis. Okay. And if we talk about the CSR, so there is there are two parties involved in that. One is the corporate and other side is the ultimate beneficiary, right? So it will be easier one-to-one party to do the impact assessment in a normal cases, and also, to follow all the provisions of the ongoing project. Here, I think on social stock exchange platform, it will be little difficult unless and until that, that provisions of the ongoing project impact assessment get amended in the line with the social stock exchange.
And I will put this way, Ms. Krutika, I read the question. Majority is telling there is no return, there is no tax benefit. Then why it is invested? What is the advantage? Is it only a crowdfunding? How my value? Why it is called security? Because I cannot take it back. I cannot transfer and invest in someone. Someone has asked from one NGO to another NGO. I can say it's gone means gone. It's one-time payment. So it will not shift. It is an expenditure. So there is a question also whether I can claim in PLN account and as such. So basically the question comes, what as a lay person, that what is the benefit, why I should get listed? So if you have to say that something, because that is a major question, because
But
investors.
I guess this question was rightly answered by Sudhakar ji
Hmm,
few minutes back. It is the reputation that is
reputation,
bought.
yeah. Yeah,
Right now, we've made several considerations for SEBI to. So
right.
it is a 1 CR project. Now, not all NGOs able to do 1 CR project, right? So
Hmm.
we've got that limit also down. We've got the investing limit also down. But just that SEBI has to consider.
Yeah. And also then when like listed company as on today, they are more regulated, more there is a surveillance and all that. Same way, this is the
There are
reason that they
compliance.
are compliance. They
Yes,
will
there
be
are compliance to be
observed.
followed.
And it's a public money which it should be observed by some government or semi-government controlled body, neutral person body, that it is spent properly for proper reason. The people who are in management, ownership, they are not misutilizing the fund, they are not taking any advantage. So all this, as an outsider, as an investor, you will never able to check. You will give once and it's over. So who will keep that continuous watch on that organization? This is the organization, like a body with Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange. They will keep a continuous eye on this organization. So your investment or your donation is safe in that organization, and that organization in actual word contribute to the social purpose and not for the namesake. I think this is the benefit. So your donation go to the right organization, and that organization remain at a right path. And that's why this social stock exchange, it's a huge fund. So we need to control. Like in this other organization, you get return, here no return. So it require more control. Rather, it is a rather more requirement that this organization should be controlled. And that's why this social stock exchange. And when it will be controlled this way, all investors will have the faith and they will invest preferably in this organization. This is the purpose. I think that will give answer to all the queries and doubts.
In fact,
Sudhakar.
Dipti, I will add further what you said is, in fact, getting listed on the social stock exchange, cut the ice on both the ways. On one side, because of you will get image and all those things, you will get funds for your project. Sometimes it may so happen you are raising only 1 crore you require, but people might have invested 2 crores. Of course, you may not be able to accept that. Then again, the rules have to come for that. How much oversubscription you can accept and all, that is a different thing. But what will happen is, the moment these NGOs or anyone gets listed on the social stock exchange, definitely the publicity will be there for that. For whatever the reasons it is, if this NGO is not able to complete the project, number one, or alternately siphon off the funds, they will get equivalent negative mileage also. In their lifetime, they will never be able to bring any kind of issue on the social stock exchanges. So what will happen is, I don't think any NGO will cut their own legs. Number one. Number two, this is now there are so many questions, as you rightly said, by why I have to invest when I'm not getting tax benefit, this, that, and all those things. This is one of the modes to raise the funds for the purpose of the charitable activities or CSR activities, whatever it is. How to get funds, this is one of the ways. Number one. Number two, this is in a very nascent stage. It is very inception stage. Say, for example, if you see the consultation paper, that minimum investment should be 2 lakhs as on date, and the issue size should be 1 crore as on date. Now that there might be, SEBI might have received a lot of representations by 2 crore, 2 lakh rupees kaun invest karega. So suppose, say, for example, I want to invest, say, 25,000 rupees. So this 2 lakh rupees minimum application, they want to reduce it to 10,000 rupees. So that what will happen is, people who want to contribute by 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees, like that, you can put more money also. Minimum investment will be 10,000. Maximum, it is up to you. Similarly, in fact, 1 or 2 questions I have seen in the chat box also. Suppose if I am not able to mobilize 1 crore rupees, what will happen? That's why they are trying to bring this 1 crore rupees also to somewhere, I think 50 lakhs or 25 lakhs, something, I don't remember the figure. In fact, SEBI consultation paper says that they want to bring the minimum issue size also, they want to bring it to a minimal limit, so that more number of company, NGOs can come and get their securities listed and augment the funds in this way.
And of course, international funding and all that recognition also, it will be give mileage.
Correct.
Yeah, Dolly, can go ahead.
So almost we have discussed this slide, but still I will, quickly give the overview about it. So first of all, to get registered on the social stock exchange, as we discussed, there should be a social intent. Okay, and which are the organization can get registered is the non-profit organization and for-profit enterprises. Now, in cases of for-profit and administration required, they listed main board or a SME board with their debt securities that can issue and also the equity they can issue. Then also, as I mentioned, they can they can issue the equity and debt or the social impact funds or development impact bonds to the in public for the so that they can get the funding from the retail investors, which, as Sudhakar sir mentioned, the minimum investment is 2 lakh rupees by the retail investor. Okay, and now coming to the NPO side, non-profit organizations. So there are registration guidelines issued by SEBI, which we will be discussing further. And there are security instruments which can be a zero coupon, zero principal. So there is no interest. You won't be getting any principal amount back. Okay, so it's a kind of donation you are making for the social cause. Then there is a social impact funds, and again equity or debt which can be issued by the Section 8 companies. Yeah, so moving onwards, let's just understand the eligibility criteria for the registration purposes. So once the primary social intent requirements have been made, there are further criteria that entities must be registered as a trust or society or Section 8 companies under the respective acts, and you should be having the valid certificate for further period of 12 months at the time you are taking the registration or you're filing the registration documents with the social stock exchange, BSE or NSE. Okay, then there is a governing document of the NPO seeking for a registration, which can be MOA or AOA, then your memorandum, trust deed, bylaws, or constitution. Then registration certificate under Section 12A, 12AA, and 12AB under the Income Tax Act 1961. Again, it should be valid for at least next 12 months from the date of application. And also that NPO should not having any notice or ongoing scrutiny by income tax. Then again, there should be a valid ATG registration of the NPO. They should be having the track record of 3 years. Okay, and for the same, the NPO is expected to submit the last 3 years financials, audited financials, and also the ITR, income tax return, with the respected BSE and NSE social stock exchange. And also there should be a valid IT PAN card. So coming to there should be again a criteria as a minimum fund flow. Okay, so there should be annual spending in the past financial year of at least 50 lakhs, and you have to provide the receipt or the payments from audited accounts fund flow statement that as a documentary evidence. And there should be a funding in the past financial year of at least rupees 10 lakhs. So this all are the criteria to get registered on the social stock exchange. And as we mentioned earlier, that for-profit enterprises, they didn't, they don't have any registration guidelines because it is already, there as the similar regulations to get registered on the main board or SME platform. So now let's understand about the financing instruments for NPOs. So as we discussed, they can, issue the zero coupon, zero principal instrument to institutional investor or non-institutional investors as per the SEBI ICDR regulations 2018. Then there can be a donations through mutual fund schemes as specified by the SEBI or any other means as specified by SEBI from time to time. So as Sudhakar sir has mentioned that this, this platform, it has it's a very initial stage. So there are a lot of, because people are asking for the benefits and all. So as we mentioned earlier that already, the committee has, submitted some suggestions with the SEBI, okay, recently. So we have to wait for the SEBI's answer on that. Okay. So now starting with the
1 minute, Dolly. See, somebody asked a question again. Of course, though we have answered it, let me reiterate that.
yeah.
If invest in the same company directly outside exchange, then they will provide ATG, but not through exchange. See, the answer to that is there are several trusts which are registered and give ATG certificates. And pardon my saying that sometimes some kind of bogus certificates are also given and the projects are not completed. Those kind of trusts, they don't have any kind of image, reputation, nothing is there. This social stock exchanges, whoever wants to deal whether to invest or whether to issue the securities, these are all above the board transactions. In fact, if you see that to get your securities listed, the minimum criteria what you have to satisfy, that itself is showing that only genuine NGOs, genuine trusts only can come and get the securities listed. Everybody and anybody cannot trade here. So at the same point of time, the investors are also, they want their money to be utilized for some good purposes, which will be beneficial to the society. Suppose if I make investment, if I am looking that whether I will get ATG benefit or not, no doubt about it that people look for, but several times it so happened that we don't give that importance to the ATG certificate rather than utilization of my money for a proper cause and for the benefit of the society. This social stock exchange is meant for those kind of companies. If any of the participants, please don't put this question again and again unnecessarily. In fact, we have already clarified this issue that this is one of the mode to raise the funds. This is not the only mode. If you want to get ATG certificates and all, please do it by all means. Don't get your securities listed on the stock exchanges. Once, let me tell you one thing. If you are a real, genuine NGO, having good projects, and once you get your securities listed on the stock exchange, complete the project well in time, the kind of mileage what you will get in future, whenever you are conceiving projects, you will not starve for funds. Funds will overflow. In fact, okay, that as I was mentioning, suppose you might have issued securities worth 2 crore rupees, but the subscription might be 5 crores. What I will do with the extra funds, can I accept it or not? That clarity is still not there as on date, but it will come over a period of time. Even to SEBI also, they have put the, if I am not wrong, the base regulations in place. And as and when we are passing through the phase, definitely some more changes, some more modifications will certainly come for that. Krutika, having said that, I have one more question also. Now, you have said that the project is going to get listed, right? Say, for example, today I am conceiving a project. I am having an NGO. I am bringing it on the to get it listed on the Social Stock Exchange, and wherein I am giving the details of my project, wherein I am saying that the project is going to take 3 years. So I am going to get the funds for the 3 years at the beginning itself. I am not going to get in phases. I am getting it at one time only. So now when I complete the project after 3 years, what will happen to the securities what I got listed on the Social Stock Exchange? How long they will be there, because the project is completed for which I got my securities, then what will happen? You are on mute, Krutika.
Okay, I'm sorry. So it will be there on your portfolio till the time the project is completed. Once the project is completed, then.
So it is kind of a delisting, you meant to say, a kind of. Not
Yes,
exactly.
but not delisting, but completed.
Completed, yeah,
Yes.
that's what it is. So the securities will not be there anymore on the SSC, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yes, Dolly, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, as we spoken about the zero coupon, zero principal instrument, there will be no interest and no principal payment at the maturity. It will be issued by an NPO for a specific social development project. So we can say it will be issued, project to project basis. Okay, that are listed under the SEBI ICTR regulations. And also NPO, they need to show the expertise in the targeted areas through social performance of the past project, which in turn allow the investors to gain greater insight into the NPO's activities. So let's say am I audible?
Yeah,
No,
now
Dolly, you're
audible.
audible. You have to share your screen, I think.
Yeah, for
wait,
1 minute
just
you
a-
lost the touch. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a second, I'm sure. This is visible now?
No, not yet.
No.
Yeah, it is there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I was saying the NPO, they need to show the expertise in the targeted areas, okay, through the social performance of the past projects they have done so far. So let's say the NPO is raising the fund for the water conservation project. Then they are supposed to share their expertise by sharing their past projects they have handled so far, so that investors can get the better idea about, and they can make a better decision for their investment purpose. And then again, zero coupon, zero principles shall be listed on the social stock exchange platform and shall carry a tenure equal to the duration of the project. That's what Krutika has already mentioned, that it will get delisted once the project, funding and everything is done. At the maturity, they shall be written off in the investees' books. And as per ICTR regulations, NPO shall issue the zero coupon, zero principal instruments to a public through a public issue or social impact funds, which is again registered with the SEBI AIF regulations through a private issue. And now the minimum issue size to raise the fund for your project will be ₹1 crore. Minimum application size will be 2 lakhs. And minimum subscription, there should be a 75% of the funds proposed to be raised through issue of zero coupon, zero principal instruments. Yeah. So let's just quickly have a look at the social impact fund. So social impact funds means an alternative impact fund which invests primarily in the securities units or the partnership interest of social ventures or securities of social enterprises, and in turn which will satisfy the social performance norms laid down by the fund. So basically, SIF issues social units to its investors who have agreed to receive only social return or benefits, no financial returns against their contribution. Okay, and issuer, that is a AIF, wishing to raise the funds for NPOs need to show again the expertise of the NPOs involved in the target area through their social performance of the past project. So here it is very clear there won't be any financial return. Okay, it will be you are investing like a donation for the benefits of the social cause.
Yeah, Dolly, 1 minute. There is one question that
Yeah.
suppose, as I was mentioning, that there is, suppose if it is overfunding, what will happen? Suppose my issue size is 2 crores, I got 5 crores, what will happen? Of course, that clarity is not there. So
Yes.
as on date, I cannot retain the funds. I can retain only 2 crores only at the most. Now, another question is, what is how to do it about if it is underfunding? That means when I have issued that 2 crores, you already mentioned that 75% is the minimum subscription.
Yes.
Then only your securities will get listed. Now the question will happen is, what will happen, from where I have to bring the remaining 25%? My project, suppose, is 1 crore. and I have issued securities for 1 crore, I got only 75 lakhs. So you can go ahead with your securities listed. If it is less than 75 lakhs, obviously your issue cannot be get listed. You have to return the money. But suppose I got exactly say 75 lakhs or 80 lakh rupees, I got it. Yes, you can go ahead with the listing of your securities. The remaining money you have to mobilize other than through stock exchanges. Okay. Say, for example, when we go and list our shares in the normal stock exchanges, what we do? Equity funding and debt funding. Entire project cost is not through equity only. We will do equity and debt. So similarly here also, suppose your project cost is say 5 crores. Not necessarily your entire money will come from the market only, from the stock exchanges only. You may have to do it that from your own strength outside the exchange, how much you can mobilize, on the exchange, how much you can mobilize. Because what will happen is who will advise you on this? Obviously, when you will do this thing, you have to appoint consultants, and the consultants will help you who got the experience and exposure in this line. And alternately, the merchant bankers may be there who will enable you to get your shares listed. And because for this kind of an issue, I don't think merchant bankers are listed, I mean required.
So
In fact, according to me, this is one avenue open for the company secretaries who are in practice. Okay, if we have
was going to
some
say
good
that.
knowledge and all those things, this is one venue where a practicing company secretary can always advise the NGOs. And look, suppose by that, what you can do, what you can't do, how much is there, because there are a lot of nuances out there. It is not a child's play. Getting shares listed on a stock exchange, it is not that small event. But only thing is, again, I'm repeatedly telling you why I have to get my securities listed on the stock exchange. Sometimes it may so happen your NGO is having a good reputation, no doubt about it. On its own, it can get funds also outside the exchange. But still, getting it listed on the exchange, you will get a different mileage altogether. Say, for example, there are several what's called as unlisted public companies are there. They are doing good amount of business. They are earning good amount of profits. But still, what will happen is there, suppose the wealth is, that the net worth or the wealth, what is the market value? Are you realizing that? If you want to realize your market value, you have to get your shares listed. So at one point of time or the other, good closely held public companies doing good business, they will get the securities listed on the stock exchange. Same is the case here also. Good NGOs having some good projects and all, if not for the sake of money, for the sake of recognition, for the sake of good mileage, they have to get their securities listed on the stock exchanges, whether it is a BSC or NSC, it depends on. Okay. Am I correct, Krutika? Would you like to add
Yes,
something?
yes.
Yeah, please.
I just want to answer your question. Your one question is, what if oversubscription happens?
Yes.
So similar, we are going to follow proportionate basis allocation. We will, in case of oversubscription, and in case of undersubscription, obviously the money will go back from where it has come. And secondly, in IPO and all these cases, what happens is there are merchant bankers. So similarly, we will have to create an ecosystem where not a merchant banker, because it is like a pinch to your pocket, especially for an NGO's pocket. So we have to create an ecosystem who will enable NGOs to help raise the money with the gap which is there, to help them to to enable them, to empower them, so that the subscription is not undersubscribed, or if at all it is undersubscribed, then there is this merchant banker like body helping them to, okay, don't worry, if it gets undersubscribed, we are there. So that ecosystem needs to build, which will build over time. Like, this is a very new baby. So yeah.
Yeah. And actually, we must appreciate, SEBI and the BSC, NSC, to at least speed up and initiate this platform, on a very large scale. And also, the suggestions and the recommendations SEBI is welcoming to all the public to write the recommendations. So you can always visit their website SEBI's website to write your recommendations.
In fact, according to me, merchant bankers, they may not give so much attention to this thing because for them it is a very small 1 crore rupees listing on the stock exchanges. It is not worth their this thing. But for practicing company secretaries, according to me, this is a venue. Maybe practicing company secretary, chartered accountants and all. So my advice requires submission to all the company secretaries who are in practice, including our own firm, Mehta and Mehta also, that we should focus upon. This is another new avenue available to us to flourish our practice lines.
For that reason only, Sudhakar, we are talking. And actually, we were the first to start social stock exchange webinar earlier, few months back only.
Correct.
Yes.
Because it's a very novel concept, and we as a firm, we always pick up any new thing, what is the new why and how it can be. And really, we
In fact,
appreciate that.
Dipti, I will go one step further and requesting all the participants that, in fact, instead of asking the same questions again and again, you please think through. You do a simulation kind of thing that as if you are going to get your shares listed, or as a PCS firm, you are going to advise your clients and you are going to take up this task. And what are the issues you are going to face, which are to be addressed, either by the stock exchanges or by the regulator, whoever it is. Please write to us and we will put our heads together. And in the forthcoming webinar, we may take up certain issues. And Krutika, suppose she may be able to answer certain questions here. She may not be able to answer certain questions here. Then she will take it forward and may check with the regulator, with SEBI or whoever is concerned. And similarly, whenever she is attending the meetings, if we have some concerns, we can rise here and she will definitely take that thing forward by whatever the difficulties of the participants are there. So I'm sure that she will take it forward. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Dolly.
So yeah, so moving onwards, talking about the this SIFs, there are two types of investment which are permitted by SEBI. Okay, so existing SIF may invest 25% of their investable funds in securities of NPOs registered or listed on social stock exchange. SIF or schemes of SIFs launched exclusively for registered or listed NPOs may invest 100% of its investable funds in securities of NPOs registered or listed on the SSC platform. So again, there will be an instrument of equity or a debt, which Section 8 companies are eligible to, raise the fund through that, instrument. The existing provisions as applicable for other body corporates shall continue to apply for such issuances. And the Section 8 company wishing to list equity shall need to show its track record through social performance of past project or activities undertaken by them, as well as through different allow investors to gain greater insight to the into the company's activities. Now let's
just give a pause, Dolly. Here, somebody is asking that can we please get contact number of Sudhakar sir for clearing any doubts? I won't give my number to you, but I can certainly give that you have the email address of Mehta and Mehta. Please write your queries, your whatever the clarifications you require. And because otherwise, it may not be possible for me to answer everybody's queries personally. Okay. But definitely you write to us, and two questions of yours we will answer on complimentary basis, and after that we will charge you on the lighter side. I can say that much.
I have written, Sudhakar, that write all the question, we'll try to cover. Majority we have covered, and if anything is left, we will reply to them, leave the contact details.
No. See, what I'm trying to say is, if any of the participants are really serious of taking any kind of NGO, that's getting their securities listed on the stock exchanges and all, that kind of clarifications are required, what is to be done and all those things. If they are really serious, they can approach someone Dolly or the firm directly, and we will advise accordingly. Suppose, see, that one is that academic issues we can clarify like this. If you want to really to take up as a project and all those things, obviously we will work as a consultant and we will take up that thing. That's what I'm trying to drive the point.
Okay.
But at the same point of time, Dolly, what I also suggest you is, after this webinar is over,
Yeah,
Please go through the recording. There are a lot of questions out there.
sure,
Okay.
sir.
Similarly, in the previous webinar, also questions are there. In those questions, you please think that whether anything is there which we are not able to answer,
Yeah.
which we have to bring it to the notice of Krutika, then she will be able to take it forward, wherever that kind of issues are there. Please do that, take it up.
Yes, sir, surely I will do that. So Krutika has some commitment, so she will be there with us for more 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, ma'am, I would request we will take up, further questions at the end now. Okay. So yeah. So there are, financing instruments for the FP sector, that is a for-profit social enterprise, may raise the funds through issuance of equity shares on the main board SME platform or innovators growth platform, or equity shares issued to an alternative investment fund, including a social impact fund. Then there will be a issuance of debt securities or any other means which will be specified by the SEBI. So as we mentioned earlier, that retail investors can invest here in the for-profit social enterprises only which are FPs under the main board. Retail individual investors means an individual investor who applies or bids for the specified securities for a value not more than rupees 2 lakhs. Yeah. So as we mentioned that for profit social enterprise, they can raise the fund through equity or debt. They have to show their track records through their social performances, and also they have to comply with the disclosure requirements as per their applicable segment, such as main board, SME or IGP, etc. Then there is another instrument for the for-profit enterprises to raise the fund. It is a social impact fund or development impact bonds, which is issued by aggregator for a specific target area. They need to show the impact areas and other relevant metrics, such as impact expected and the expertise of the aggregator. And this SIFs issued by AIF can invest 75% of their investable funds in unlisted securities or partnership interest of social ventures, or in the units of the social ventures, or in securities of social enterprises. The remaining investable funds to be invested in securities of NPOs with the prior consent of at least 75% of the investors by value of their investment. These funds may accept grants which need to be only unlisted in the above manner. Sorry, utilized in the above manner. There was a questions coming up that how we will be knowing that this NGOs or NPOs, FP listed, how they are going to utilize our fund. So there are several disclosures. They are mandatorily required to give it to the SEBI and the respected exchange platform. First, they have to first let's talk about the registration. So NPO which is registered, they have to give the registration details about vision, strategy, governance, management, operations, target segment, finance, compliance, and all such data they have to provide. That NPO which is listed, it is not applicable to them, and FP has to follow the SEBI LODR regulations. Then when we talk about the annual disclosures, so NPO has to give the disclosure about the governance and organizational and financial disclosure as per guidelines within 60 days of the financial year end. And FP has to again follow the SEBI LODR regulations. When we talk about the quarterly compliances or the disclosure, so to NPO it is not applicable. NPO which is listed, so they have to provide statement in respect of utilization of funds raised within the 45 days of the quarter end. And again, FP has to follow the LODR regulations. Again, there are certain event-based disclosures also. NPO and the FP is supposed to provide the data to the stock exchange. Any event having a material impact on the functioning of the organization, So NPO is supposed to, provide that data to the social stock exchange within 7 days of that event. And NPO and FP, they have to provide about any event that may have a material impact on the planned achievements of output or outcomes, and steps being taken by the social enterprise to address the same within 7 days of the occurrence of the such event. Then again, they have to provide the annual impact report, covering the strategic intent and planning, approach and impact scorecard within 90 days of the financial year end. So this all are the mandatory, disclosure requirement, which are, expected from the NPO and the FP to provide on time. Otherwise, they can be delisted from this social stock exchange. So
I'm sure that there might be some penalties also for the non-compliance. Krutika, can you please advise us on that about the penal provisions? Do you have any, or what kind of?
So they will be deregistered from the platform.
Yeah.
Okay, they will be deregistered.
Yes.
Obviously, that the moment you do that, it will come in the public domain, and again, it is going to cause the dent to the image of that particular company for wrongdoing. And at the same point of time, in future, I don't think you will permit them to get their securities listed again. Because already that there are some kind of non-compliances, so there will be a bad, black mark on their record. So at the same point of time, let me also say that, sorry, Krutika, please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that I have to leave. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, don't worry. In fact,
leaving
thanks very much, Krutika, that as I was, in fact, normally we say on a formality side that despite the fact you're busy schedule and all, but here you are really having a busy schedule. Thanks very much for joining us.
We actually, I told you, right, that this month we will be coming up with a listing process. So we have a meeting with our trading and development team, and that is why.
So I'm sure that once you complete that project, we will have a good webinar once again on that, Krutika.
Definitely. Then it will be a very detailed one.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
What I will do is I've already put up to all the participants the list of the BSc portal where they need to get registered. I'll just put in my email ID in case anybody has any doubts. They can write to me.
Excellent.
That will be great for help to all participants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just put my email ID.
Yeah.
Got it.
Participants, you can note down her mail ID. You can connect to her directly also.
Thanks a lot, Krutika.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So just only 1 minute, I would like to say this thing is that don't think that NGOs and anyone else who wants to get their securities listed to get the funds. Please understand one thing: there is no free lunch. The moment you get your securities listed, lot of compliances are there. Post-listing compliances are there. You have to keep the progress of the project informed to the stock exchanges. So it is not like that, once you get the funds and all, that is the end of the matter. No, it is just the beginnings. Listing of your securities on the stock exchanges is a beginning. Thereafter, whatever the progress of the project and everything is there, as Dolly has already mentioned in the previous slides, you have to keep the compliances, whatever are there, that is to be done. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. So as we have discussed as a, part of the stakeholder, there was a term as a social auditor. So, before understanding about the social auditor, let's first understand about the social audit. Okay. So basically it is a process of reviewing and verifying the social accounts at the end of each social accounting period. Okay. So it will be basically on a project to project basis again. Okay. Social audit assess how well the company, so here the NPO and the FPs, achieves its goals or social responsibilities benchmark, that is the audit of the social impact. Social audits shall be mandatory for entities on SSE. Okay, so now who can be who can conduct the social audit? So NISM has introduced the course to become the social auditor. So basically you will be certified by NISM. That's the mandatory requirement. Then again, the social audit framework, which is developed by ICAI, CS Institute, provides a social auditor guidance for conducting a social audit. And also ICSI has, defined the social audit standards. Okay, and
In fact, Dolly, that in the this social auditor also several people have a question that what
Yeah.
kind of an audit takes place. So actually, I think in the consultation paper,
yeah,
even there is a proposal that to substitute the term social auditor with a
Yeah.
social impact assessor. Actually, that
Yeah.
is the right purpose and right objective of that thing. Having a social
Yeah,
auditor is
correct.
to understand the impact assessment. So that is the right terminology. In fact, let us see how whether they will continue with the social auditor or social impact assessor. That let us see that thing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Even they have mentioned that social audit word is looking very negative. So let's address it as a social impact assessor.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes. So basically, as we discussed, social audit will be, perform independent verification of impact reporting. So auditor will be, basically doing the audit for that particular project. A social auditor shall be registered with a self-regulatory organization under the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. The SRO is named as Institute of Social Auditors of India, a non-profit making organization, and registered as a Section 8 company under the Companies Act 2013 under the aegis of ICSI. Social audit firms means any entity which has employed social auditors and also has a track record of minimum 3 years for conducting social impact assessment. These firms shall be employed social auditors who have qualified a certification examination conducted by NISM. And who can be the social auditor? So the non-financial audit, that is social audit, can be conducted by the following: chartered accountant or company secretary or a cost accountant or postgraduates from universities recognized by the University Grants Commission with a minimum 3 years of experience in the development sector, or a graduates from universities recognized by the again UGC with a minimum 6 years of experience in the development sector, or any other persons with suitable accreditations with a minimum 6 years of experience in the development sector. So these are the eligibility for the being a social auditor. Now we will take up certain FAQs, and I hope this will be covering all the questions.
I think, Sudhakar, looking at the time and, yeah, you are covering this, but no from public will take participant. We
Yeah,
are.
see that there are one or two questions important. I find it, Dolly, before you take up FAQs.
Yeah.
That what is the difference between NPO registered and NPO listed? So first of all, the NPO, whichever wants to bring their what's called as that issue of securities, they have to first of all get registered with stock exchanges. After that only they become eligible to bring that their securities, issue of securities as an IPO kind of thing, and then get it listed on their stock exchanges. Similarly, are the annual financial reports pertaining to the project or of the organization? It should be of the organization, not of the project as such, because the purpose of that is, though the project is getting listed, at the end of the day, they also want to know about that, the NGO or the trust which is there behind that. So to my knowledge, if I'm not wrong, they want to have the financials of the trust or the NGO or whatever it is. As far as the PPT and all is concerned, the Dolly mentioned several times that all the recordings of our webinars are available on our website, and you can kindly go through that, and the PPTs are available there in that. Okay, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. Now you take up FAQs. Yeah, that's it.
So first of all, NGO Darpan registration is mandatory to get registered on the social stock exchange. Okay. Then if you are being a corporate, if you are promoting any NPO, okay, through formation of a formal organization, and then you want to raise the fund, by getting, registered with the social stock exchange. So it is not allowed because in a way, it's a promotion. So it is not allowed. Then for-profit organization eligible to issue a zero coupon, zero principal instrument for raising the fund. So the clear answer is no, because zero coupon, zero principal will get issued only by not-for-profit organizations which are registered with a social stock exchange. And then can a social enterprise terminate the listing of zero coupon, zero principal instruments from social stock exchange? So the answer is yes, they can terminate. There can be two reasons. First is the object for which the funds were raised have been achieved, and a certificate to this effect is submitted to social stock exchange, or the tenure to achieve the object for which the funds were raised as provided in the fundraising document has expired. So in both these cases, your zero coupon, zero principal instrument will get terminated. Then there's a last question, whether retail investors can invest in securities issued by social enterprise in the social stock exchange platform. So as we mentioned that retail investors are permitted to invest only in the securities which is offered by the FPSE sector under the main board. In all other cases, only institutional investors and non-institutional investors can invest in the securities issued by the social enterprises. Yeah, so I think we have answered all the questions, or
In fact, Dr. Sanjeev, you want my appointment. I request you to please coordinate with Dolly, and
Yeah.
Dolly will organize that. Okay.
yeah.
And sorry.
Sure, I have mentioned
Sorry.
your email ID. If you have any query, you can write to us, and this is our website. Where
That
you
Dolly, Dr. Sanjeev has written in the chat box that he want to have an appointment with us. So I am asking him to coordinate with you, and you may please take it forward. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can close this webinar now.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks everyone. We are going to note down each and every questions. Don't worry, we will come back to you and revert and reply. The majority of the questions we have answered. And still, if you want, as Mr. Sudhakar said, you can connect with us and we'll reply and we'll connect with you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, though Ms. Krutika is not there, we still again thanks her. And also, if necessary, we will have a detailed presentation again. Once this SABI suggestions is finalized, something new is crystallized, again we will have a series of CSR, this social stock exchange, till we are clear. So up till now, whatever information and clarity we have shared with you, still certain clarity will come, we will again come back with you. We'll come with this webinar unless and until we all are clear and all the amendments are discussed for the social stock action. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Sudhakar. Thanks, Dolly, for your presentation. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dolly. Excellent presentation, Dolly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.